Whispers on the Asphalt. Written by Zach Bagans. The black ribbon of highway unspooled before me, swallowed by the looming darkness at its edges. Windshield wipers beat a steady rhythm against the relentless downpour. I was heading nowhere fast, the miles blurring into a tapestry of fatigue and flickering streetlights. It's on nights like these, when the world feels empty, that the stories come out. Stories whispered in hushed tones around crackling fires. Tales of the hitchhikers who haunt the lonely roads, their presence as chilling as the wind that howls through the canyons. These are not stories for the faint of heart. These are tales of encounters that defy logic, defy explanation. Stories of the souls lost between this world and the next, seeking passage, seeking solace, or perhaps seeking something far more sinister. Each tale a thread in the tapestry of the unknown. And tonight, we unravel 3. Route 66, the mother road, pulsates with the ghosts of journeys past. This legendary highway, once the main artery of America, now stands as a silent witness to countless stories, some forgotten, some remembered, and some that defy explanation. It was here, on this iconic stretch of asphalt, that a lone trucker named Jack encountered the inexplicable. Jack had been driving these roads for years, a seasoned traveler who thought he had seen it all. His rig rumbled through the Arizona desert, the only sound the drone of the engine and the mournful whine of the wind. The vast, empty landscape stretched out before him, a canvas painted with the colors of dusk. He saw her standing by the roadside, thumb outstretched, a fragile silhouette against the setting sun. Her presence was almost ethereal, as if she were a part of the desert itself. Her eyes held a sadness that cut through him. He pulled over, compelled by an instinct he couldn't explain. As she climbed into the cab, Jack felt a strange sense of déjà vu, as if he had met her before in another time, another place. She spoke little, her voice a mere whisper, her destination a small town miles up the road. Her words were soft, almost lost in the hum of the engine, but they carried a weight that Jack couldn't ignore. Miles melted into miles, the silence in the cab broken only by the murmur of the radio. The night deepened, and the desert around them seemed to close in, a vast, empty void. Jack glanced over, expecting to see her face etched with weariness. The seat was empty. Panic surged through him as he realized she was gone. His blood ran cold. He slammed on the brakes, the truck screeching to a halt. The sound echoed through the night, a stark contrast to the silence that followed. There was nothing but the desolate expanse of the desert, stretching out under the watchful gaze of the moon. The landscape was unchanged, as if mocking his confusion and fear. The woman was gone, vanished, as if she had never existed. Jack's mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Only the lingering chill in the air served as a reminder of the encounter. The cold seemed to seep into his bones, a haunting echo of the mysterious woman, a chilling reminder that on the open road, not all is as it seems. Jack continued his journey, forever changed by the vanishing act on Route 66, a story he would carry with him, a ghostly whisper in the wind. Blackwood Road was shrouded in a different kind of darkness, the darkness of ill repute. It was a place where shadows seemed to move on their own, and the air was thick with an unspoken dread. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, warning travelers to avoid it after nightfall. Stories of strange occurrences and eerie sounds were passed down through generations, each tale more chilling than the last. But warnings are often ignored, especially by those who believe they have nothing to fear. The bravado of youth and the arrogance of the untested often lead them to dismiss the cautionary tales as mere superstition. A young couple, giddy with love and invincibility, found out the hard way that some legends are grounded in terrifying truth. They laughed off the warnings, their hearts full of adventure, and their minds closed to the possibility of danger. Their car sputtered its last breath at the edge of Blackwood Road, leaving them stranded. The engine's final cough was like a death knell, echoing in the stillness of the night. The rain, as if mirroring their despair, began to fall. It started as a drizzle, quickly escalating into a torrential downpour that soaked them to the bone. Then, through the downpour, they saw headlights approaching. Relief washed over them, a beacon of hope in the oppressive darkness. The car stopped, and the driver, an old man with eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom, offered them a ride. His presence was both comforting and unsettling, a paradox they couldn't quite understand. He spoke little, but what he did say sent chills down their spines. His words were few, but each one was laden with a weight of foreboding. "Turn back," he rasped, his voice a dry whisper. His eyes bore into theirs, as if trying to impart the gravity of his warning through sheer will. "This road, it takes more than it gives." His words hung in the air, a dire prophecy that seemed to resonate with the very soul of the road itself. He dropped them off at the nearest town, his parting words echoing in their ears. They thanked him, their voices trembling with a newfound respect for the unknown. They heeded his warning, turning back just as the first rays of dawn kissed the horizon. The light of day brought a sense of safety, but the memory of the night lingered. Later that day, news reached them that a car had been found wrecked on Blackwood Road. The sight of the mangled vehicle sent a shiver down their spines. The occupants, a young couple, were never found. It was as if the road had swallowed them whole, leaving no trace behind. The old man's warning, his prophecy, lingered in their minds, a chilling reminder that sometimes the road less traveled is best left untraveled. They would never forget the night they came face to face with the darkness of Blackwood Road. Section 4. Vengeance from Beyond the Grave. Route 27, a desolate stretch of highway that snaked through the heartland, bore witness to a different kind of phantom hitchhiker. This road, often shrouded in mist and mystery, had a reputation that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned travelers. This one was driven by a thirst for vengeance, a rage that echoed from beyond the grave. Unlike other ghostly apparitions, her presence was palpable, her anger almost tangible in the cold night air. The story went that a young woman had been brutally murdered on that road, her body left to rot in the unforgiving sun. Her life had been cut short in a violent act, and her spirit could not rest until justice was served. Now it was said that her spirit, unable to find peace, roamed the highway, seeking retribution. She was a spectral figure, her presence a chilling reminder of the unresolved crime. Truckers, their rigs hulking through the night, would report seeing a figure in their rearview mirrors, a woman with eyes that burned with an eerie light. These sightings were often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, as if the very air around them was freezing. But when they'd slam on their brakes, desperate to help, there'd be no one there. The road would be empty. The ghostly figure vanished as if she had never been there at all. One trucker, a grizzled veteran of the road named Hank, claimed he'd picked up the hitchhiker. Hank was known for his no-nonsense attitude and his years of experience on the road. He described her as beautiful, with a sadness that tugged at his heart. Her eyes, though filled with sorrow, held a glimmer of hope, as if she believed that Hank could help her find the justice she sought. She spoke of a man who had done her wrong, a man who deserved to pay. Her voice, though soft, carried a weight of pain and betrayal that was impossible to ignore. As she spoke, her voice grew colder, her touch like ice. The temperature in the cab dropped, and Hank could see his breath misting in the air. She pointed to a beat-up pickup truck ahead, its driver oblivious to their presence. Her finger, pale and ghostly, seemed to glow in the darkness. Moments later, the pickup veered off the road, crashing into the embankment. The sound of the crash echoed through the night, a violent end to a tragic story. The driver, the man the hitchhiker had pointed out, was dead. His lifeless body slumped over the wheel, a grim testament to the ghost's quest for vengeance. Hank, shaken to his core, looked back to the passenger seat, but it was empty. The ghostly hitchhiker had vanished, leaving behind only the cold memory of her presence. The vengeful spirit was gone, her debt presumably paid. The air seemed to warm slightly, as if her departure had lifted a heavy weight from the world. Hank never stopped on that stretch of road again, forever haunted by the hitchhiker who sought justice from beyond the grave. The memory of that night stayed with him, a chilling reminder of the power of vengeance and the restless spirits that roam the earth. Section 5. The Unanswered Questions. The stories of phantom hitchhikers persist, passed down through generations, each retelling adding another layer of fear and intrigue. Are they merely cautionary tales, meant to keep us from the dangers of the open road at night? Or are they glimpses into a realm beyond our understanding, a realm where the veil between the living and the dead thins to the point of transparency? We may never know the answers, but one thing is certain: the next time you find yourself driving down a desolate highway, the wind howling like a mournful spirit, and you see a lone figure standing by the roadside, thumb outstretched, you might want to think twice before you offer a ride. For you never know who or what you might be inviting into your car. The road is a lonely place, and it holds secrets that are best left undisturbed. But be warned, sometimes the road chooses to share its secrets, whether we are ready to hear them or not.